Ben Hogan won 9 majors and a total of 64 PGA Tour events. Most of his primary ideas were captured in his timeless 1957 book called 5 Lessons. Probably his most important concept is his idea of the swing plane, as shown here in this image on the screen, which is one of golf's most influential and iconic images. Now in 5 Lessons, he describes a pane of glass running from just outside the ball up through the base of the neck, and he believed that the left arm should be just at it or below it at the top of the swing. He felt that the biggest error you could make was having your left arm get above this glass plane, which would lead you to a lot of trouble, including very weak drives and slices. It's quite possible that from this illustration came the term over the top, meaning you're coming over the top of the glass. So the concept of the swing plane, or this glass plane, in Hogan's book is fairly straightforward. You would simply want to make sure that you stay under it on the way back all the way to the top, and then it'd even be a bigger bonus if you could stay under it on the way back down into the ball as well. Will lead you to much more powerful and accurate shots consistently. So we've already talked about what a disaster it is. Golfers who float above or over the top, you'd come down and whack the glass this way. But you can also be too far under it as well. You could look something like this coming into the ball, and this would give you pretty bad issues too. Your path would be too far inside to out. You would tend to hit the ground too soon, hit drop kicks in chunks. You would also have very difficult time controlling the closure of the club face. This is how a lot of golfers hit pull hooks or duck hooks, which leads us to a concept that I call the strike zone. The strike zone can be measured when your club is about halfway down. It needs to be just below the shoulder to just above the elbow. So you have golfers who play at the top of the strike zone, like Jack Nicklaus, like Scotty Scheffler. Obviously a great swing shape to win majors with. But conversely, you also have golfers who are at the bottom of the strike zone, riding the forearm coming in, like Ben Hogan, like Lee Trevino, and many others on the current PGA Tour. Now those two legends have 14, 15, 16 majors between them, so it just shows you that anywhere inside the strike zone, from just below the shoulder to just above the elbow or the forearm, is going to allow you to play some really great golf. Now one more thing I really like about Hogan's glass plane is how it also dictates your follow through, or what you might call the exit. See, there's a lot of good golfers out there who have no problem coming down under it, but they come too far into out, and therefore they would hit the glass early in the follow through. So instead of that, if you really want to hit it long and straight and become an excellent golfer, you're going to follow more under it all the way in, and then back under it again, following through to a parallel position underneath the plane like this. Now let's take a look at it from the POV angle, and we'll see why staying under Hogan's glass pane is so important. From the noodle perspective, this is what your hand path should look like on a perfect golf swing. It reaches its peak outward at the right foot of the right thigh and then starts curving back around to the left. This gives us, as you've seen in some of my previous videos, a really nice kick of speed and squaring force. So it's much more difficult to leave the face open and slice. Now, if you were to hit the glass plane coming into the ball, your swing would look more like this. See how we're kind of coming more from the outside, but you can see what happened to the curve. The curve of the noodle kind of disappeared. It's turning into a straight line. And so we're not going to get that same kick of the club face or that acceleration of the club head this way. Now, conversely, if you were to hit the glass on the way through, your swing would look something like this. Yeah, you're coming at it nicely from the inside, but because your hand path kind of turns into a straight line into the ball, it doesn't allow the club face to get as much squaring force. And this is a classic block scenario. Push, block, and duck hook. So if you have that kind of pattern, then this is why you'd want to practice with that stick on the front edge of Hogan's plane to get you to come back around and continue your arc around the body. Now check out this water skier. He's following under the Hogan glass, both coming into the ball and exiting after the ball is struck. Notice how as the boat turns left, which is the path of the handle, the skier explodes with acceleration. Not only will this give you more club head speed, of course, but it's also giving you that nice extra kick to square the club face coming into the ball so that you don't have to manipulate it with your hands. Okay, I hear you. I know props aren't for everybody. Some people prefer to just feel the swing correctly without the use of props. So if you're one of those people, try this exercise at home. Set the club like a merry-go-round right about the belt level or so. You can let the head of the club dip just a little bit lower than the handle. What I want you to do is just swing around on a merry-go-round, keeping the club head below your belt the whole way, like this. This will start to give you the feeling of staying under the Hogan glass plane on all sides, both going back, coming down, and coming through. Then what you do is you retain that same feel, and you're going to add about a 30-degree bow at the hips. And now if you were to feel that same exact arm swing, it would feel like this. And there's a swing where both sides are clearly under the Hogan plane. Now my personal favorite is the microphone stand and noodle drill. Essentially it's the same thing as practicing swinging under the Hogan pane of glass. This edge of the noodle is acting as a point along this exit line, the front edge of the glass. So if I can stay missing it, then my swing is in pretty good shape. So I like to do lots of these real slow. So whether you use the image of Hogan's pane of glass coming from just outside the ball up through the base of your neck, or you might use a stick drill on either side of you, or a noodle drill like I showed you a minute ago, or maybe you're just doing the feel of going around the belt and adding in the bow is your favorite drill, keep in mind that your best results are going to come when your club stays underneath that glass all the way throughout the golf swing. Now just a moment ago I teased you Hogan aficionados on some information that you may not ever have heard before. Well, did you know that Hogan lifted or borrowed the concept of the pane of glass from somebody else? It was not his original idea. As far as we know, the person who came up with this glass plane or pane concept was a Scottish golfer and teacher and club maker and golf course architect named Seymour Dunn. Now he wrote a book similar to Hogan's 5 Lessons, but way back in 1922. And another really great tidbit is he wasn't even the most famous member of his own family, as his uncle, Willie Dunn, finished second in the inaugural 1895 U.S. Open of Golf. He also finished third in 1897. Now, if you're a big Hogan fan and this was new to you, I want you to go down and leave a comment down below, or maybe there's a fact that you know about Hogan that you don't think is very widespread, and I want you to share it with us down below too. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching the video all the way through. I hope that you'll take a second to hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, so you don't miss another video. Share this with somebody who needs a little more distance and accuracy. I'm Steve. Check out my website, hititlonger.com, and if I don't see you in the next video, I hope I see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.